So this is Zorroary. We are doing all Zorro all the time this month. I love this character. I'm going to talk about it more as we get into it, but I'm going to introduce everybody and then talk about some lovely pics that we'll look at and you, the listener, can look at. Hi, I'm Salt. I have my regular co-hosts, Lan and Keigen, and we have a very special Zorro correspondent with us here today as well. Please give it up for Mr. Ibrahim Moustafa. How you doing today?
I'm well. A Zorro-spondent, if you will.
That's what I was going to say. I'm like, it was right in front of you.
No, thank you guys for having me. I'm really excited to talk. As I mentioned, this is my all-time favorite movie, so I can't wait to get stuck in on this.
I can't wait to disappoint you, Ibrahim, with my hot takes. No,
I'm immune, dude. Don't worry. I'm gonna. But by the end of this, you're gonna be talking about the Independent Republic of California. So it's all good.
Long live Alta California.
So in our Discord, which you can join by going into our episode description, we have the link for you. Come chat it up with us. Ibrahim has shared some really wonderful images of his Zorro collection. And for people who don't know, in addition to being a comic book artist, comic book writer, breakdancer, I'm sure Ibrahim has a bunch of other talents I don't know. Ibrahim is also a custom figure creator. So he has his custom Zorro here and the rest of his collection. Can you tell us more about this?
Yeah, so that first image is actually there's a 1/6 scale Zorro made by a company called Blitzway. So that's like a Hot Toys style Zorro.
Okay.
And then underneath that is my just sort of like general Mask of Zorro collection. There's trading cards, the Game Boy Color game, a 1/18 scale figure by a company called Boss Fight Studios that I customized. I've got the movie in pretty much every format except for like UMD, like PlayStation Portable. There's the Image comics adaptation done by the guys who used to do like the Marvel run, or maybe the Topps run on Zorro. The movie novelization, the laser disc. I mean, because the thing about there's also a 35 millimeter trailer reel in there too. Because the thing about this movie is that like it's not that popular given like what it is, you know, so you can get this stuff. So like I got that trailer reel for like $9. Like, you know, the stuff for this isn't that expensive. But and then in the second photo, that is a figure that I made with a horse that I customized and made all the tack and gear for and stuff. And there's actually a video of that on my YouTube channel if anybody's curious to see the process of making that.
Nice. We can link that in the description of the episode.
Thank you.
As much as I want to know more about the figures, it's a much less important item I want to know about here. And I see a Game Boy Color Zorro game. Have you played it?
I have not, because I don't actually have a Game Boy Color, so that's something I'm on the lookout for. I'm thinking about getting one of those like, you know, modern ones that plays everything that's just like a third party deal, you know.
Just as long as you don't get the one from Palmer Lucky, you should be good.
Okay, that's good to know. But yeah, the game by all accounts is terrible. And you know,
you're telling me this licensed movie tie-in game is terrible, Ibrahim?
Right? Right?
I'm shocked.
But the first I'm hearing.
My holy grail that I have not acquired yet because they're very hard to find. Tiger Electronics made one of those little handheld LCD games of this, and it's beautiful. I don't know how it plays, but it just as a piece of like, you know, 90s ephemera, I want it so badly. So yeah, you know, this movie's interesting because, you know, it was sort of at the end of that era of when they would push movies through like a lot of physical tie-in stuff, you know. I mean, nowadays we get popcorn buckets for certain things, but usually it's like, oh, you can play them in Fortnite now, or there's a Minecraft package for this or whatever, you know. But this was back when it was like, you know, novelizations and of course several different formats instead of just streaming and Blu-ray, right? Trading cards. I have a video rental promotional button for it that you would wear at like a Hollywood Video or Blockbuster if you worked there, you know. So it's you know, right at that tail end, so it's fun to see the different kind of stuff that they were making. And like I said, it's not highly sought after, so it's pretty easy to scoop up when you find it.
Well, speaking of this movie existing at the end of certain cultural eras, there's a interview with Banderas where he's talking about the what it's like working on this set, and I think it's Spielberg himself, who's a producer on the film, who says that what you're working on here is the last of this type of picture. No one's going to be doing these sort of swashbuckling films again. But psych, you were wrong, Steve. Pirates of the Caribbean, my other favorite movie from that era, came out like 3 years later.
Same
but he was
writers
mostly
too,
right. I get what he meant.
Yeah, well, and in that, I believe too, he was talking about how this is also kind of the last Western that's going to be made like this,
Right.
Like, I mean, obviously there have been, probably hundreds of Westerns since this movie came out, but as far as on this big blockbuster scale with no CG, I mean,
the set pieces, even, like the amount of effort it takes to build some of these set pieces.
Yeah, miniatures. I mean, I think there's like 2 matte paintings in the whole movie, like the rest of it is all like in camera and stuff. So yeah, it really is kind of the last of its kind in a lot of ways.
Not counting the sequel movie, which is...
It really is, Land, the last of its kind in a lot of ways.
It's crazy.
They only made one of these. What restraint?
It's crazy. They keep saying, like the sequel movies should happen. Like Banderas says he's interested. Zeta Jones says she's interested. Everyone says that they're interested in make the sequel, but it never happened. It's tough.
You say that, Land, and then they're gonna Force Awakens it. And
they're gonna make a new
yeah
Steven Spielberg coming out of
it's gonna have a granddaughter
producer. Steven Spielberg's greatest contributions of the 2020s: Easter Sunday and this Zorro sequel that I'm sure will be fantastic.
Zorro Awakens.
I would really hate that, because inevitably what they would do is make the downfall of Alejandro Murrieta's Zorro, right? Like it would be the Han Solo treatment, like, if we lost, everything sucks. All I did was for nothing. Now you have to set it right, young one. And it's like,
yeah,
you can't just let them have their, we already saw that in this movie with Don Diego, right? So
yeah, this movie is also kind of already its own Force Awakens for Zorro as a concept.
This is one of like the first legacy sequels I think that we've seen in Hollywood. And it was interesting because it's a legacy sequel to like all previous iterations of Zorro, right? Like it's not picking up anything specific.
Kind of James Bondy.
Yeah.
Well, Ibrahim, there's another Zorro film that did that before this, but we're covering that movie later on in our Zorroary. But before we dive into the meat of this film, I want to briefly talk about the history of the character. This is by no means comprehensive. What I love about Zorro so much is he's this sort of missing link between like swashbuckling heroes and superheroes. I think like everyone knows that you get like Batman and stuff by virtue of Zorro, but it only hit me like a day ago that the reason like Zorro was so easy to adapt was you've got all these like film sets in LA, so you can shoot the character on location. Like that I don't know if any other pulp heroes had been designed with that so intentionally. That's my brief piece on Zorro. Ibrahim, did you have any history with this character before you saw this film, or was this film your introduction to Zorro?
No, I used to watch the Family Channel Zorro TV show.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It aired from like 1990 to 1994.
I don't know this adaptation.
Oh, it's really good. It's starring what's his name? Duncan Rhaegar as Zorro. And he's this like classically trained actor who did all his own fencing, and they filmed it in Spain. When it starts off, Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. plays his father, but eventually he was recast after like a season or a few episodes or something. I'm not sure why, but and it was filmed in Spain, and it's like, this on location show where like it's just kind of a serial. It's great. Like every week, there was a different little thing for Zorro to have to deal with. And it starts off very run of the mill with, like, oh, the evil alcalde is stealing our water and all that stuff. But then it gets into like a little bit deeper. There's an episode where Zorro gets bit by a rattlesnake and he has to hide in someone's barn and stuff. Like, it's really good. So I used to watch that whenever I could find it on TV. I was like 5 years old when it came out. And then I would pick up the Zorro comics at the library as a little kid that were based on that show. So that was what made me fall in love with the character. And then when this movie came out, I was completely primed for it. So
hell yeah. Keigen and Lan, what was your experience with the character prior to this movie?
I had read a bit of the book in, I forget which one. I think it might have been the first one, in a library when I was in middle school. I didn't finish it, but I remember being so intrigued by the character. Then around the same time, like, I had been watching some reruns of the Batman animated series, and there was the Gray Ghost character, and I was thinking, I'm like, that guy seems familiar. Why does he seem so familiar to me? And then years went by, didn't really engage with anything Zorro, and then in high school, I think my history teacher told me about the movie, Mask of Zorro, because he was a huge Banderas fan. I was like, you gotta watch this. I'm like, all right, I guess I'll find a way. And of course, I used my very legitimate means of acquiring this movie to watch.
iTunes account, right?
Yes, library. The library. What a wonderful place. Go get a library card. And then I watched the movie for the first time, loved it. And I was like, oh, a sequel. Shame that's never happening. And I've just been living with that shame.
You're like hallucinating again. I'm not sure. I think
I
all of us
know,
collectively
like,
are shaking our heads, not sure what you're talking about here.
In my mind, it's just like, I don't know, it just keeps coming to me like a vision. But like not a good kind, like an omen. An omen is a good way of describing it. Yeah.
It's so wild to hear you talk about like trying to figure out how to watch this movie. And in my head, I'm thinking like, it came out in 98, go to the video store. But I'm significantly older than you. So.
And I was going through the same thing. Because I think I saw this in the theater.
Yeah, this movie came out, I think, a year before I was born.
Oh, wow.
Let me check the dates here again. Let me check the dates here.
It came out in 1998.
Beautiful baby boy.
It's 98 in July, so it came out like 4 months before I was born.
I had no idea you were that young. That's crazy to me, dude. I feel like I gotta rethink this because now I don't know if your opinion is gonna matter to me at all. This is crazy. Unless you like it.
It's like that age-old adage, it's like, don't listen to anything that a 23-year-old has to say on the internet.
And Keigen, what was your experience with Zorro before this?
Just pop cultural osmosis, baby. Zero actual Zorro.
Oh, I'm really, I can't wait to hear your take on this, Keigen, as somebody who came into Zorro with this.
The weird thing is that, I mean, I love Batman, right? I've loved Batman. So it's like everything here is recognizable. So it's not like there's nothing. And I had an idea, he raises a horse, he's got a mask, he fights for the people, but very little specifics. So, it was cool.
Yeah, it's what if Batman was in California,
It literally.
I mean, the cultural osmosis of Zorro is such a fascinating thing because of not just, the presence of the character, and things like Batman's origin story. He's going to go watch Zorro or the Gray Ghost, depending on which adaptation you look at.
Well, I mean, Frank Miller had in Dark Knight Strikes Again, Batman carving Z's into like Lex Luthor's face.
Yeah, exactly.
Which was sick.
And it's so, it permeates so much of pop culture, right? That it's kind of crazy to look back at this movie in the current day when I don't know, like the ghost, or perhaps the Gray Ghost of Zorro lives on within.
Boo. Yeah, you keep
it's not all pop culture,
like cartoon character.
You know what's interesting? I didn't realize until this conversation is that I used to watch reruns of the Batman 66 show as a kid around the same time I was watching the Zorro show. And it was so campy that like I didn't really associate the two of them as being that similar because he wasn't in all black and he wasn't, you know, like it was much less of a grounded take. So I didn't start to see those comparisons until I was much older because of, you know, Batman 89 being something I could actually watch when I got a little bit older and that sort of thing. So yeah, it is. I mean, obviously, like they just, you know, wholesale ripped off Zorro and changed him a little bit, you know,
Yeah,
but like, yeah, it's definitely interesting to see that comparison like over the years.
I mean, there's a whole generation of comic characters in the 30s that owe them their existence basically to Zorro and like those proto pulp heroes.
Yeah, I mean, Zorro was kind of the first like caped superhero. You know, I mean, he was created in 1919, and I don't know if he had a cape back then. I think he did, but he wore a cloak, I guess, in the original novel.
Well,
but yeah, I mean, funny. He was the prototype, right?
Yeah.
We haven't done the book yet. We're going to do the book on another episode, but I don't think the book even really got into the mask, because when you look at the old versions of the character, the mask would take so many odd forms that you don't expect.
Yeah, it was more like Grifter from Wildcats, right? Like it was
exactly.
Like across his eyes and draped down. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of masks, we're going to hop into the movie itself. Opening shot of this movie is genius, and it like wasn't until my third shot, my third watch of this film, that I realized how clever this is. We start with black fabric and the eye holes being cut out of this fabric so that a young Zorro to be can see what's going on in the town square. And right there, we've got it all. We've got eyes, we've got fabric, we've got swords. There's Zorro in this opening shot. That's brilliant. I can't believe that I never noticed that until now.
You skipped the opening crawl, Saul, and I know you hate opening crawls, but I really like
I check out. I don't care.
Out once again.
Don't care.
Always skipping.
You put text on the screen? I'm not here to read. I'm here to watch a movie.
I'm a watcher.
But yes, there is an opening crawl, and there is like a weird 5-second shot of Banderas in the Zorro costume. It looks sick, but I don't know why it's there. It feels very producer notes.
It's a James Bondy, you know, like it's his version of doing the.
This movie was directed by Martin Campbell, who did GoldenEye and Casino Royale. Yeah,
because Martin Campbell's such a fascinating character in all of this, because this movie wasn't originally. He wasn't originally attached to this movie. He came on pretty late into the production of it. Like, there was a point where this was supposed to be a Robert Rodriguez movie, right?
That makes sense.
Oh, that would have been cool.
Yeah, and it's funny to think that Campbell took this instead of doing another Bond movie. Because I really do wonder what a Tomorrow Never Dies under Campbell's pen would be. Campbell is a director I'd consider to be hit or miss. He's directed 2 of my favorite Bond movies. If I can get a bit controversial here, 2 of 10 Bond movies I consider to actually be good.
That's probably too many.
And he also did Mask of Zorro, which, spoilers, I really, really enjoyed. But he's also done a lot of bullshit since doing these movies, like the Green Lantern movie, The Foreigner, which I don't know. Have you guys seen The Foreigner?
Banger, dude. Come on.
I'm sorry. You're just it's just too pro-British for me. Up the raw, you know. Casting Pierce Brosnan, who's fantastic in the movie, just, you know, it's just too anti-Irish for my tastes. But yeah, like in this case, you know, this is perhaps at a career high for him, you know, coming straight off of GoldenEye, just about a decade before he'd go on to do Casino Royale. And yeah, just his touch can definitely be seen here. And, you know, like putting it side to side with stuff like his other 2 big movies at this time, really does show the touch and then the feel that went into this movie.
Also, shout out to Phil Mayhew, I believe is how you say his name, was the director of photography on this, because there's a lot of really beautiful shots in it. And I think that, you know, his work coupled with Campbell on this is really what helps to make this movie sing.
It looks like a painting of the era. The lighting is so strong in every shot. It's truly beautiful.
especially those night scenes, like very, very beautifully, positioned. Everything's like, like painterly, like it feels like they blocked everything in a way where you could do the whole every frame of painting thing with a lot of the shots in this movie.
Yeah.
Should we go through this chronologically?
Yeah.
You can try.
Yeah, we
It's
already
fine. We go all
interrupted
over the
you,
place.
but that's okay. We'll try. We'll try harder.
If you're interrupted because there's something you love, so much the better, because there's so much to enjoy here. Part of why I want to start chronologically is I think the historical connection here is really intriguing. We've got these two young boys watching Zorro in this town square, and the boys are the Murrietas, with Antonio Banderas playing Alejandro Murrieta, which makes him the brother of the real-life Joaquin Murrieta, who was a sort of Robin Hood type character in his own time, but that there is some like historical dispute there. So I like that this movie is already staking its claim on doing its own version of Zorro and interweaving its narrative with some sort of local legend.
Yeah, that was
right.
something that Spielberg and the original writer, I think Randall Johnson was his name, who came up with the story with Spielberg. They wanted to do like a more historical take on Zorro, like putting it in an actual time and place with actual like real historical events happening.
And what I love about this is that they've grounded it in history in the real world, but that G word really bothers me sometimes, because when I hear about superhero stuff being grounded, a lot of times that goes with something being less fanciful. So this is grounded in history, but it's still really spectacular and over the top. So I really love that approach to this.
Yes, this was
take.
a time when you didn't have to have the origin of how he got the fucking mask or something, like it wasn't like this is cut from the cloth of the like, it's just he just wears a mask, it's fine.
Yeah. Exactly. It's because he looks cool.
Yeah. The
It's
Zorro
also
8-part miniseries where he gets the mask and Tornado in the last episode.
Let's go.
Yeah, we
Oh
watched
my
the
God.
horses banging to conceive Tornado.
I'll
And
have to wait.
he was conceived during a radical windstorm, and that's how they gave him the name. And
Dang, you should write this, Ibrahim. It's right there for you.
they won't fucking
we
let me,
got
but they
it.
hired Sean Gordon Murphy. No.
Most importantly, though, it's a fuck Spain movie, and that's truly the best. Just immediately, you want me on board? Is a bunch of Mexicans saying "fuck Spain," and I'm
Right.
there.
I mean,
I'm
there is irony to it, given that Zorro in this is played by a Spaniard.
okay. No, you know what though? I feel like.
I mean, I'll allow it because Banderas is fantastic in
particular.
this.
Yeah, Banderas barely whatever. He could do whatever he wants. But it's funny because all of the white people casting in this movie is pretty defendable because they're Spaniards. So it's like, it's not even really brown face because they're Spaniards. It's fine.
It's interesting. This is the first time that Zorro has been played by like an actor from a Spanish speaking country, right?
Mhm.
Like,
Oh, that's so funny.
yeah, I mean, it's always been white dudes up until him.
Yeah. Well, I
So-
mean,
I know that.
Hopkins is also
Yeah, even in this
Zorro.
movie.
Yeah.
So, that was the other thing I like. It's very funny. Like, the first time you hear them talk about Zorro, they roll the R's, and I'm like, holy shit, yeah. And then they just drop it the rest of the movie, and I'm like, damn, like that's a double R though. Like even the Spanish would be saying Zorro, not Zorro.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's okay.
My
It's
favorite
okay.
delivery of his name in this movie is when the bad I don't know we're getting to this part, but when the bad guys show up at Don Diego's estate and he goes, "Blood never lies, Zorro." Just that like that harsh whisper of it's like, oh, every time, oh my gosh, they're gonna fight, aren't they?
On that note of Hopkins, we have this whole sort of prequel story of Hopkins being the original Zorro, and there's this subtle touch I really love in those scenes when he's swashbuckling. You know, obviously there's the stunt doubles coming in when he's doing gymnastics and all the badass sword stuff. But when you get to look when you look at him up close, he looks kind of silly. And I think that's an intentional choice because you're a little bit like wondering, oh, how are they going to make Zorro look cool? Because the contrast of when we get to Banderas later looks so sick in that costume and mask.
Yeah.
Yeah, and something I love about how he plays Zorro for the brief time we see him, that like there's that scene where he's fighting the guards and he's just going yeah, like kind of like hacking away, just like bouncing his sword around, playing with it, like, and it's so clear that they're not even on his level and he's not like being overly punitive to them, like, and he's just kind of having fun with it. And that's what is missing from a lot of hero stuff in general, is like them actually enjoying what they do, so I love that little touch of it. And yeah, he does, like, he's older, right? He's got a bit of a paunch on him, like
a little fat.
But it's like it still kind of works in a weird way, and you're like, you know what? I buy this actually. Like,
I mean, Hopkins was like 60 or close to 60 when they were filming this, and he, again, for 60 looks pretty good.
Can I tell you something heartbreaking?
Oh no,
so
was he actually 70?
No. I loved him in this movie. Like, I think he's so good in this movie. But you know who they were there were two people they had approached, or they were going to approach. One was Connery, which I would not have enjoyed. The other person that they had talked about, but I believe he got sick and passed away, Raul Julia.
Oh man.
Oh
yeah. I mean, talk about the most. Yeah. I mean, like, I can't unsee it, right? Like,
yeah.
He would have been so good. But Hopkins really, like, he turned down the role initially because he had like a really bad back problem, and then he had some kind of like life-changing back surgery and was able to do it. And he got so proficient with the whip on the set of that movie in between takes and stuff, that scene where he's putting the candles out with the whip is actually him doing that.
Oh,
and they just thought it
was
savage. So cool. Yeah, they thought it was so cool they just left it in. They were like, you know what, we're gonna put that in the movie.
That rocks. I mean, yeah. I knew about Michelle Pfeiffer using the whip for real on Batman Returns, but that's right. I love hearing like when actors like actually like learn the craft of it. Speaking of which,
like, not that hard to figure out. Is that?
Well, how good are you with your whip, Keigen?
I don't know, but if I was on a movie set for like a number of days, maybe I'd figure it out.
It's the monkeys with typewriters thing. You put an infinite Keigens with infinite whips, and he could probably figure something out.
Figure it
out. Speaking of learning the tools, according to Banderas, when they were training with Bob Anderson, the fencing instructor, they were doing like 10-hour days some days, which I he must be exaggerating, but like that's nuts. But I believe about the intensity of the training because he's so good with the sword, and then also he fights with it a little differently than Hopkins.
Yeah, Bob Anderson famously like did every sword fighting movie ever. I mean, he was the guy. He did the lightsaber fights in Return of the Jedi, and I think Empire Strikes Back. Princess Bride, Lord of the Rings, like he was like the guy you go to for any kind of fencing stuff. And he is quoted as saying that Antonio Banderas was the finest student he ever taught.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
That is,
and I think, because Banderas is he's a good dancer, as evident in this movie, but also he did, what was that movie? Ballroom, something about a ballroom.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Spike It, yes. No, he did a movie about ballroom dancing. I don't remember what it was called, but
is it called Strictly Ballroom, or I think it's something else?
It might have been. I'll have to look it up, but yeah, I mean, so generally, like, dancers are often cast in like martial arts roles and stuff because they have the dexterity to kind of pull off a lot of that stuff. So I think the fact that just his natural ability and rhythm, and he's just like you can see by the way he moves, like on those like ship ropes and stuff in the training circle in the cave, that like he's just like a pretty generally gifted athlete, I think. And so yeah, watching him do the sword fighting in this movie is just such a joy.
Yeah, everything feels natural when he's moving around too. Like I think that's also a compliment to the stunt team and also the production team on this, that like, you know, when he's moving around on a rope, or if he's moving from like scaffold to scaffold, you know, like that all feels both fantastical and also realistic.
Yeah, he did a lot of that stuff himself too. I mean, I saw some kind of behind the scenes things where they were like, kept having to try to talk him out of doing so many stunts because they didn't want him to get hurt, you know?
Yeah.
Obviously he's not flipping on the horses and things like that, but yeah, he's doing a lot of that stuff. And, you know, I will say too, not pictured in the collection stuff there is I have a replica of the sword from the movie. And
oh my God.
Yeah. And
Nice.
it's heavy. Like, I mean, you know, for what it is. So to be moving it that quickly, like, and I know they have like lightweight ones for this kind of stuff, but I mean, this thing is like, it's formidable to move like you're writing with a pen, you know what I mean? And that's what he does in this. So it's pretty, I can imagine the endurance and the muscles that they had to build to do that or something.
All right, I have pretty much given up on a chronological breakdown of this, which is fine because I hate doing that. So I want to turn to Keigen. You haven't said a lot, and this is your first exposure to Zorro. What were the vibes? How did it go?
Oh, well, this is fantastic. I love this movie. It has a lot of comparisons to a lot of, you know, fond movies too. Pirates, we just covered Pirates, and that's obviously a very easy comparison. But just the amount of tactile stuff in this movie is so good. But the horse, I think I don't think anything. You know, I watched 2 of the Zorro movies that we're doing this week, and in both the horse stuff is just like insane. The like tornado, the whole scene, the fight to get the horse in this movie is so fun. But then all the horse riding is crazy. The like standing on the horses and doing the horse chasing and stuff like that. It's nuts. All the horse work in this movie. And then just aside from that horse, there's a million other horses that they're also dealing with. That's so fun to watch. I don't know why. I've been on a big like animal actor kick lately. Just like watching things.
Did you see
like,
Good
holy
Boy?
shit. No, I haven't. I do want to. No, it kind of started with Pluribus. Actually, there's a goat in the last
Oh my
episode
God, that
of
little
Pluribus.
goat.
That goat. That's one of the that goat deserves a statue. Like it's the goat acting in that scene is incredible. But like there's multiple horses in this movie that I'm like, damn, that's a good horse. That's a good actor. So that really stood out for me. But like I think this one, it's such a good origin story, and it balances so much of that stuff really, really well. And I think that's the other part of this is just it's super easy to get into, and there's all kinds of reasons for that. But it makes it really easy to follow and get and like root for Banderas especially. But yeah, and I mean, I think the other big point that I was like laughing about is that this is like even without this is the first Zorro thing I watched, right? It is a Force Awakens. Like it's very funny that it's a legacy sequel in this way, and how like it feels in a big way like Zorro. I don't want to say fell off, but it feels like this for whatever reason you could pull this off. You know, in '98, you could do a legacy sequel for Zorro. There was enough pop cultural osmosis in the air, at least, or familiarity to be able to just do a Zorro legacy sequel.
Well, there's a few variables there. I mean, you've got like other pulp heroes. Like there's that old Twitter joke that I really like about how like Batman succeeded in '89 and all these, you know, geriatric film executive producers didn't think superhero, but they thought pulp hero. So, you know, we had the Phantom, we had the Shadow, and so this is kind of like the last big pulp hero that a movie studio hadn't done. So I think that's half of it, and I think the other half of it is I think a lot of the guys at the top saw the way the winds were blowing, and they're knowing, all right, a lot of the big budget stuff going forward is going to be really CGI dominant. This is one of the last big ones we can do that's close to all practical.
Yeah.
Well,
And I
on
mean,
the
yeah,
other
I
side
think-
of it too, you had Zorro Productions, which is like a brother sister that owned the rights to Zorro, and they had been trying really hard to get a Zorro movie made for years. So they were also on the inside of that, trying to push it outward. And I think that all coalesced with what you're talking about with the big, pulp wave of the 90s. But it is interesting too, because being that it is this sort of like legacy sequel, even though it's not like a sequel to something specific that already existed, right? But the thing that this one does is it takes the mantle of Zorro away from like a rich Spanish aristocrat, and it puts it, on a man of the people, like a true like from the mud, from getting it up out the mud,
it's
local
absolute
Mexican
Zorro.
guy,
which
I love about that.
I mean, that's also very Force Awakens. I mean, granted, this movie came out first, but like, when you look at the comparisons, like from the mud, but then, like, if perhaps a sequel to this movie were to exist,
you never find out that he's actually
like
like the great grandson of somebody.
Yeah,
like,
he just marries up. That's the dream, though, right? Like.
But to that point,
in the third movie, he says, "My name is Alejandro Montero."
Yeah. He's actually Montero's son instead of being his adopted daughter, which is no, but speaking of like the origins of the character of Alejandro, like Banderas does such an incredible job of displaying his range as an actor in this movie. Like we meet him and he's this, like low-born bandit, right? And then we see him like get this like determination and drive, when like he's on his revenge mission, and he's an incredible drunk actor too, which I love. But
I love those scenes.
Yeah.
Real good.
And then he has to put on the charm when they dress him up as a Spanish
also great.
Noble,
elite. Yeah.
So
and
good.
then when we see him like at his breaking point with Diego, like when he's like, all your wise words for what? So I can smile in the face of my brother's killer. He's like, like you feel his passion in that moment and like his anger, and like he just, and you see how sad he is when he's like, what about the people? Like, so it's this beautiful balance they struck of like him having his own revenge mission, but seeing beyond it, and then caring about the altruism of the mission, and be in the disillusionment with Diego when he just wants his own revenge after all that time. And yeah, I love his performance in this movie.
Speaking of balance, I don't know, all three of us want to go.
No, yeah, his performance is real good. And like I really like that point about the range. Yeah, he gets to do so much. And I think one of the things that's really lent here to the whole movie being like fun and good and like very cool. It's self-contained too. Like it has an ending. You don't really need another Zorro adventure from him. Which is why they don't have to make another one. Yeah, they only made one. So it makes sense.
Happily ever after.
But it's cool that they get all of that in here in a way that's like coherent and like, yeah, it's real cool.
Yeah, and to that point too, I love that a lot of times when you have an origin of a character, you only get them in like the final act of the movie, and it just feels kind of like, wow, that was great, but like we spent so much time getting to them becoming the character, right? But in this movie, like you get two big action set pieces with him as Zorro, so it feels pretty like substantial. You feel like you got to really be with him. Actually, you get three, because you get when they go to like he goes to steal the map at night when you the big flaming Z.
Yeah, awesome.
And he fights Montero and Love. Yeah. Which is one of my favorite fight scenes in the movie, when he's like fighting them with two swords, then you get the horse chase after that. And then you get the whole final third act at the mine. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good Banderas as Zorro in this movie, and other movies would not have done it that well. You get it right at the end, and then you're hoping for a sequel, and then sometimes they don't happen, and that's it.
Yeah, we okay.
No, Lane, you're good.
We got down to two. That's good.
We talked about the comparisons to The Force Awakens because of Keigen's Star Wars addled brain.
Yeah,
but
I only know Star Wars. Yeah.
I think the connection that I was also thinking about watching this movie was The Color of Money. There is very much like Paul Newman, Tom Cruise relationship going on between Hopkins and Banderas' version of Zorro, right? The rash thinks he can take on the world, hot-headedness attitude from Banderas here is very much the same kind of young bullheadedness, I guess, that we see out of Tom Cruise. And to have this like guy who knows how the world works, the master who shows up when it's time for the student to actually learn in Hopkins, a la Newman, that same kind of relationship being fostered here. Yeah, this very much is The Color of Money, except the Balabushka is Tornado.
Yeah, Hopkins is so like, there's this really interesting relationship between the two of them where every time he starts to feel like, hey, I'm getting somewhere, Hopkins just, in the words of the movie, like slaps him down or whatever, right?
Yeah, and he's always there to knock him down a few pegs.
Yeah, like and then right when he's ready to be like, you know what, fuck you, man, I'm out, he's like, he gives him another little bit of rope. You know, here's a little thing you can do actually. Like, now we're going to a party, and he's like, oh, okay. Or when he tells him like, you know what, fuck off, man. And he's like, you ready for the mask? He's like, shit. Okay.
Or even their first interaction when he slaps the sword out of Antonio's hand.
Yeah.
I keep thinking about the origin aspects of this movie because it works so well. And like Ibrahim said, there's no nonsense like, oh, why did he pick the mask? Like, and yet this whole movie is an origin, and I'm trying to figure out like, why does it work so well as an origin story without feeling exhausting like origin stories do?
I think
it's because the character already exists. Like, and Zorro he's being in this movie. Yeah,
he's being groomed
into being the next Zorro. What's the age gap between Banderas and Hopkins here? But no, like that's the thing is like it's a semi-origin because we are brought into this movie with the fact that like Zorro has existed for quite some time before this movie, where this movie picks up, right? So in a way, it's this idea that like, okay, there is an established character, and it's now a matter of how does this new character, Banderas's Alejandro, become Zorro? So it's not a conventional origin story in that like he is picking up everything, the foundations, he's coming up with the foundations of like how to be Zorro, much in the way that like a Batman origin or a Superman origin is about like, how does he get the suit? How does he get the Batcave? How does he, come up with the Batarang, right? This is very much, how do I live up to this mantle?
Here's a
horse.
A good point.
Yeah, we're not seeing the trial and error of like, okay, maybe I need a cape on this suit now. Like we saw the character at the beginning, and we're watching him grow to fill those boots.
Yeah, and since this is a fuck Spain movie, we already understand why he put the mask on, because fuck Spain. So easy peasy.
She was built as a bridging vehicle. That would be kind of fun though, watching him get his cape.
Yeah. Like how did they manufacture the cape in 1800s?
It's called memory cloth.
Oh yeah, you see, this armor was because our DOD was too cheap to outfit our soldiers.
Santa Anna didn't think a soldier's life was worth 300 grand.
Post-credit scene where the Pinkertons pesos. Show up. Why, there's this initiative. The Pinkertons, they call it.
Time to go back east, Zorro.
Could you imagine a sequel to this movie starring the Pinkertons? Couldn't possibly.
Yeah, it would be awesome.
Such a thing.
It would be awesome.
Yeah, I bet it would.
I think a modern day Zorro, we need one where he's just killing ICE agents. It's a combination
what if he drove a sweet car?
Yeah.
Yeah. What?
No car.
We need.
That's
we
what's
need
crazy
this,
to me is
It's the
we need this hero of
prototypical
color to
horse.
fight tyranny and government oppression. Let's hire a white man.
Perfect. Yeah, Chris Pratt.
I really don't think the character works without a horse. I mean, that is such a fascinating point. And like when you see this movie, like he has like an emotional bond with the horse, and there's a lot of good Zorro adaptations that don't have that. Like the horse
right?
even humbles him too.
Yeah, that's such a good point. I never thought about that. Like he had to earn the horse's trust and like companionship, and we saw it happen.
Right, that's a relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're homies.
he's a character who's connected to nature in that sense. So yeah, you got to have the horse.
Oh yeah, he didn't
the
already
horses-
have the horse. He didn't like you know, like in the 1990 series, Zorro like had been like I think he bought the horse from a guy who had been raising it in secret because he wanted to sell it or something, or like or he brought the horse from Spain. There was something where it was like nobody will know this as my horse, so it's fine, you know, some explanation to it. It was kind of a throwaway thing, but like in this, he had to go steal it. He saw a horse that he wanted, and it was also, you know, ties into his character as like a bandit, right? Like we get to see him do a thing that he does very well as he's achieving this status of becoming this, you know, taking the mantle of Zorro. So yeah,
This hero.
I would agree. I would go even further. I'd say there's almost a shamanic aspect to it, to like somewhere in between like conquering and achieving this connection with a natural force, with how strong a horse is.
yeah. I mean, he even says like we are one spirit, right? Like he's like communing with the horse, you know.
He's
Yeah,
a horse girl.
I was hanging out with friends on a beach once, and I think I was still like coming down from hallucinogenics I had taken the next day, and this horse walked up to us out of the water. Like this lady was like walking it like along the water at the beach. And she
Okay,
said it
I was like, are you
Okay,
sure
I
it was
thought
there?
but
But
I thought it was a seahorse.
no, she explained to us that when you walk them in like shallow water, that the water like is good for their hooves. It can like strengthen the tendons and stuff, that resistance training.
oh.
But this horse was like several inches away from my face, and as she's explaining this to me, like the horse is nodding its head up and down, and it was so psychedelic seeing how big and heavy this skull is of this creature.
It's just
I
agreeing
also-
with everything she's saying. It's like,
Yeah,
yes,
no,
it's
exactly.
true.
It was like putting a point on it, and like I also had a cousin many
Who was a
decades
horse?
ago who was kicked in the head by a horse.
Oh.
So he got like
So he
all
would
of his
also
memory
start nodding
wiped.
randomly.
Well, basically, yeah, like he couldn't use the left side of his body normally, and he like had to relearn all of his memories before age 7. So
Oh my
like I've
God.
always thought these creatures were like really formidable and like powerful.
Did you take him to
horses
walk
are
in some
scary.
water?
Horses, I mean, a horse paralyzed Superman. So horses are
Yeah.
forces of nature.
Well, the fall did it. I think the horse was
The horse.
part of
Okay,
it.
I shouldn't
The
blame
horse
the
is
horse,
the nature.
but like,
Listen, the
you
horse
blame
is just
the
nature.
helicopter for Kobe dying, right? It's the helicopter's fault. So I'm doing that to the horse too. And so I'm
The
sorry,
horse is a helicopter, which is conveniently enough the next volume of Sean Gordon Murphy's. Sorry.
You know what? You could call a helicopter tornado. Like that's
Yeah.
really
Yeah, you could.
natural evolution. My only horse experience. I've rode a horse one time. It was in Mexico. It was on a cruise honeymoon. Like, you know, we got on land and we rode some horses. And I was terrified because I had never rode a horse before. But my wife had, and she was trying to get them to go, but they didn't want to go. And it was kind of the end of the day. She was like, they were probably tired. And then I realized that the horses spoke Spanish, not English. So all these white people were saying, go to the horses. And I was like, you idiots, va. And my horse took off like crazy. And I was scared I was going to die.
Damn,
I thought I
a
was
horse
gonna die.
whisperer, horse girl Keigen.
I spoke Spanish to the horse and it listened. I'm really proud of that. I was so scared.
You're ready
though.
to be Zorro.
I thought I was going to die. Horses are scary creatures.
I love the bit in the movie when he's like getting bucked around the horse and he's like Santa Maria.
Yeah, Yeah, there's a lot of really good comedy in this.
Yeah, and like when he lights that cannon, like he's standing there and he presents the torch, like like you guys are fucked, and they're like, oh shit, and then he lights it, and then he realizes that he's like lit the whole cache of gunpowder or whatever.
Carrying one out with him.
Yeah,
making the
it's just
cartoon.
like
awesome.
It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah,
This movie has everything.
Lot of
it
Bugs
really
Bunny.
does.
A lot of Bugs Bunny in this.
Yeah. Well, can we talk about the villains in this too? By the way,
let's get
our
it.
swagless white boy.
Yeah.
Oh my god, he's so good. He's such a piece of shit.
Yeah.
He reminds me of Jared Leto. It's great casting.
Oh wow.
I actually thought a slightly more normal looking Wyatt Russell. Like Wyatt Russell could play that role. You know?
Honestly, I was kind of getting Will Forte from him. I don't know what
exactly
it was.
He does.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
On that note of that particular villain, Ibrahim, what I really like about him being introduced so early is like, this isn't just like a mythical California in the past. This is a very specific point in time where you have both the American Empire and the Spanish Empire competing, vying for this land. So I really like that we've got villains at multiple angles here.
Yeah. That actor too, for those, that actor was, he played Thawne in the Flash TV series as well. So his villain credentials carried on into the new millennium.
He's got bona fides.
Yeah, but yeah, they sort of based him on Custer.
I see that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, he's a very, I wouldn't go so far as to say he's one dimensional, because like he's part of this larger scheme and they're all working toward this thing of enriching themselves, but like he's singular minded in that he's just a bad guy, and you don't need much more from him than that. Like, this movie doesn't try to make him relatable or sympathetic or anything. Like, he just is a piece of shit, and
he's competent.
Yeah, that's the other thing. He's not a bumbling idiot, right?
Yeah.
He's formidable.
Yeah, that head jar is haunting.
Oh, it's based on reality too, because like Love was a real person, and I think incorporating the bits of history, like after he killed Joaquin Murrieta, he had placed the severed head in jars, which I believe was also the case with him as well. Like, I think he got killed, and then he also had his head. Well, not he didn't have his head, but like his head was.
He requested his head be jarred after. He said, "Please
pickle that motherfucker, man. Fuck that guy.
Please make juice out of my head."
One of my favorite characters too, speaking of the jars, is Three Fingered Jack.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Oh yeah,
he's so gross looking.
Yeah, I love that he, like, this is a guy who, I've looked him up in the past, and like, he had a lot of bit parts in Westerns. Like, that was kind of his thing, right? Because he just looks like, he looks like if Jack Palance got stung by a bee and grew a mustache, right?
Yeah.
And he's so charming and funny in this movie. And like, his final scene when they're at the mine and all the Dons are there, and he's like just basically going off on them, and for being just vultures, right? And like, I love his dialogue in that scene, and it sucks that it's still so relevant today, right? Like, you could say exactly what he said about everybody in the fucking Epstein files and everybody in the White House, and so I wanted to highlight his character, because I thought that was like, I love how he's like, oh, I'm as criminal as they come or whatever, but I'm nothing compared to you gentlemen. He's like taking the piss out of them. I just love it.
We love
also
a woke
some
redneck
incredible
convict slave.
Yes,
incredible wire work when he gets shot too.
Yeah.
Oh my god. The way
his
they pull him back.
The yank.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
Something amusing to you?
Speaking of villains, our head villain, Don Rafael Montero, has one of my favorite lines close to the very start of the film. In the past, when he's tussling with Vega, he says, I'd kill 100 I would murder 100 innocent men just to kill you. And
Yeah.
I love that. Subtext
Dude, the
is for
hatred is
cowards.
so good.
That's a bad guy.
No, I mean, he steals his kid. It's awesome.
Well, and
Yeah.
specifically that line he says, because Zorro says to him, like, you would murder 3 innocent men just to capture me, and he goes, I would murder 100 innocent men if it meant. I think he says, I guess he does say killing you, doesn't he? I was gonna say if it was just to capture him, that's even more evil. Like, he doesn't even need him dead to murder 100 people, you know. But but yeah, straight villain, like just the worst guy. Steals a baby.
Steals a
fucking
baby.
Raises her to be his own child for 20 years or whatever. Insane.
It's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah,
The hater.
I'm it really makes me like anti-sympathetic villain. Like, just make your villains bad guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that's
it
what
works
they
so
are.
well.
That's what we're
Yeah.
seeing. You know, like, especially over the last several years, like, you know, I'm a big fan of espionage films and, you know, spy stories and stuff like that. And they're all based on like the idea of intelligent villains, but like in the real world, they're just brazen and stupid.
Yeah.
You know,
They have bad
They-
spelling in their emails.
They have the
Yeah, like,
worst.
it's-
They're not even bad spelling. They look so ugly. Like, they don't.
yeah,
The punctuation is nonsense. We don't need.
them to be evil geniuses like all the time. You know, like they can just be bad guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
There's
I mean,
a really
you know.
great. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Ibrahim. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say there's a great line in the final fight between Love and Zorro where he's like 2 men, 1 death, right? Is what he says to Zorro, meaning like both Alejandro and Zorro, you know, 2 men, 1 death. But then when he dies in the end, you know, Zorro runs him through with his own sword, and then Montero is like taken off the cliff because his ankle is tied up in that horse carriage rope. And that carriage and Montero fall on Love, and it literally is 2 men, 1 death because they both plummet to the bottom together. And I don't know if that was intentional.
God. This is
We'd
just
love
like
to see
Casino
it.
Royale, you know, that opening bit of Casino Royale when he's talking about an agent
Oh,
killing
yeah.
twice.
The second is much easier. Yes,
Yeah.
considerably. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just like I love the script of this movie. I think it's so efficient, and you know, there's a lot of moments in it like that I love. I mean, you know, right away, like you're introduced to, you know, like Salt was saying, like the mask, Zorro, the sword fight. Like you get that right away. You know, you learn who everyone is in a way that shows you who they are instead of just going, this is Steve. You know, it's like we see Montero like doing a line of coke, like sniffing drugs the first time he's on screen, right? And he's having 3 men killed, and you know, who are innocent. And then, you know, you meet Alejandro and his brother, and they are, you know, pulling a little caper, and just everybody. Their introductions are so good. Like the pacing of this movie, every time it needs to kind of have a big moment, it does. You know, whether it's a stealing a horse or an incredible dance number, or you know, like him becoming Zorro. It's just they don't make them like this anymore. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Well, on the note of the dance numbers, like, you know, I love swashbucklers. Like we've done an episode on the Three Musketeers. I see them as distinct from superheroes, and what I think swashbucklers do well that superheroes struggle with is like this sense of romance. You know, like this is a horny movie. This is a real horny movie. And like I love when these characters have these actual like rich romantic love affairs, and it makes this dance scene a very different type of excitement than all the badass sword fighting.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that this has that Batman doesn't give for me, because like I think a lot of Batman stuff try to do the romance. It just doesn't work for me. I don't
I think
prefer that out of Batman.
It brushes up too much with the superheroics is the thing.
Yeah,
like with
I mean-
swashbuckling, it's you know, a lot of it is based in classical hero storytelling. You know, like he
Right.
defeats the bad guy, gets the girl, and so like the romance here is built on top of those foundations. Whereas superhero stories, I don't know if that foundation exactly exists.
Well, I don't know. I think the foundation is there, but I think people are bad at it now because like romance is at the core of the start of superheroes getting big, right? You have all
the
these
first
guys,
Superman, Action 1 is all about pining for your coworker.
Yeah, you have all these guys who did romance comics before they did superhero comics too. So it's like there's a competency there in the 40s and in the 60s that exists, and in the 70s too, that like is core to the superhero thing, but we've lost it. And I also just want to get back to Batman specifically because it just doesn't, like, tragedy works too good for me with Batman. Being happy doesn't as much. And so like Tom King is the easy one to kick here because like he tries so hard to figure that out and it just doesn't work for me at all, versus Zorro where it's like this. Again, like you spoke to this already, Saul, but it's like the personality at the heart of the character is very important. And like it's so cool that the dance scene acts as an action scene in the sequence of the movie. You know, like this is where something, you know, cool and actiony is supposed to happen, but instead they do the dance scene, and then they flip that around later with the sword fight between the two, Elena and Zorro. It's awesome. Like,
yeah, and to your point, Keigen, the second scene between them, the sword fight, that is a love scene, right?
Yeah, totally.
So they kind of they check those boxes without actually doing it, which I love.
Yeah, and exactly. And it's like part of it is the sequencing, but part of it is the personality, and part of it is like being able to step out of fully doing a pulp thing, I guess, even though the romance is a core part of the pulp. But either way, I think there's just the right elements are all placed in the right places where it like gets to operate in different ways, like you said.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've touched a lot of this movie. Is there anything else you guys wanted to address?
I'm sure I'll think of 10 things as soon as we
as soon as we hang up. Oh, I want to talk about one sword fight.
We need to talk about the Queen Isabella of Spain. That's what we really need to talk about.
You know, I do want to give a nod to James Horner, though, who did the music and sound stuff in this movie, because it's got a very iconic, you know, it's interesting. I wonder if this was on purpose, but it's almost got the approach of a Bond movie, in that you have like a theme song that was made specifically for this film, and it's woven into the score throughout the movie, right? The difference is that it's played at the end credits instead of the opening in this movie, right? But the song by, I can't remember the lady vocalist, but Mark Anthony is the male vocalist on it. And it's a great song, and I think it was like an actual like Billboard charter to some degree as well. But yeah, it's woven in really nicely. He did a lot of interesting things too. Like there's a lot of animal sounds over like explosions and things like that. Like you'll hear like a cougar just like as you know, like the mine is exploding. There's like eagles screeching and stuff. But he also
we get the coyote howl when he first puts on the mask.
Yes, wow, which is so dope, right?
That's awesome.
And then there's also he incorporated a Japanese flute into a lot of the movie too, which is like deceptively kind of like a Spanish sounding thing when you hear it, because there's all the guitars and the sort of stomp clapping type of, you know, music in the movie as well. And then it'll just have this like Japanese flute over it, and they blend together so well, even though they're completely disparate things. So yeah, and I think he won an Oscar for this, if I'm not mistaken, or the movie won for sound or something like that. So
I think it was nominated at the very least.
Yeah,
at the Academy Awards.
I should have won Best Picture. That's my opinion. You know,
I fully agree.
What was the competition that year? Actually,
I just realized.
I don't want to look it up.
I just realized, of course, Salt loves this movie. This is a Masked Rider movie.
Yeah. Designed that to annoy Lan. The original
that's the thing. So what you're saying is Tornado needs to be a bike. Sean Gordon Murphy, if you're listening to this episode.
They did that in the 90s. I think there was a Zorro cartoon that put him on a bike, or maybe the early 2000s put him on a motorcycle.
that's
You know,
so
it's the most like if you're
It's horse-like.
changing an animal character. If you're changing a horse into a vehicle, like
It has a
motorcycle
special noise.
Oh, it's called Zorro Generation Z.
Okay, that's
nice.
Kamen
Gen
Gen
Rider.
Z Zorro,
That's
bro.
Kamen
Gen
Rider
Z
shit.
What are we
Zorro.
doing here?
Gen Z Zorro.
Gen
oh
Z
my
Zorro.
god.
You
Oh,
know,
and he's got like a daughter who looks like she's an X-Man. This is funny. I would watch it.
I have a line of Playmates figures that they put out in 1997, I think. It would have been probably in conjunction with this movie about to come out. And there's like 5 different Zorros and then like 2 villains and like a horse. And it's so funny to see them give the 90s action figure treatment to Zorro, because there's like barbed wire Zorro and he's just got barbed wire all over him. You know, it's like there's not a lot you can do with a guy who's just like in a shirt and pants and a cape, you know? So they're just really going like as far as they can. There's chainmail Zorro. And again, he's just like
Deep Sea Mission Zorro.
yeah. The only one they didn't do is like Tundra, you know, Arctic Zorro. But yeah, there's one
undercover
where literally he just
conquistador
has, like,
Zorro.
there's one where he literally just has chains wrapped around like his head and his arm, and like his cape
Spawn
is made
Zorro.
of chainmail and stuff. It's incredible.
Mm.
The Todd McFarlaneization of Zorro.
Right. Extreme Zorro.
Ever flowing cape Zorro. It's just 90% cape.
There is one that throws knives, which is pretty cool.
Okay,
That is sick.
okay.
Yeah.
All
That
right,
should
this
probably just be Zorro.
this Zorro Generation Z cartoon, I also have to report he has a lightsaber.
Oh,
Oh.
no.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I hate it. I gotta watch
But-
it.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a pretty good place to close out. I adore this movie. I'm so glad we had you on to talk about it, Ibrahim, because you clearly
Yeah, thank
share
you
my
guys for having
enthusiasm.
me. No, I don't get to do this to anyone but my wife very often, so I'm glad she got a break and you guys got to hear.
Your wife can thank us.
Yeah, was she was she elated to hear that you're doing this? It's like, hey, the NPA boys.
She was like,
putting
3
me to
more
talk about
months
Zorro. She's
of
like, thank God.
No Zorro
Yeah.
talk. Yeah.
Like taking the dog to play care, you know, just let him run around a little bit, sniff some butts.
Well, before we close out entirely, we have two items to cover. One is please follow the show. We're on Blue Sky. You can follow the host separately. Follow Ibrahim. His art is awesome. He's putting out a lot of good stuff all the time. And then sub to the Patreon. We got a bunch of bonuses for you. We're going to do more Zorro stuff on the Patreon. We might even read a certain Zorro comic we alluded to earlier in this episode.
We might even talk
Maybe.
about a hypothetical sequel to this, should such a thing
Yeah, we might
possibly even exist.
we might take some acid and dream it up like Salt did about that horse lady.
That happened.
Yeah.
You can sub to the Patreon at patreon.com/midnightgrappleranimals. And we have one more feature before we head out. This is called Taste Maker's Grab Bag. It's where we recommend to you some other things we've been into. So, Ibrahim, you can plug something you're working on, or you can share like a book or a movie or experience you recently enjoyed. Do you want to go first, or I can start with one of these guys?
Yeah, let me go last so I can think up something real quick here. Because I
Take your
probably would
time.
have just recommended this movie, to be honest.
Well, that's what I'm gonna do, because I haven't had time to watch other things while we've been doing
Everyone
the
just keeps
pod
punting
recently.
it.
So I'm just gonna say, watch Mask of Zorro. It's a badass movie.
Oh, you know what? I do have something actually. I'm gonna be a little self-serving here and plug my graphic novel Count.
Hell
my-
yeah.
Shouts.
Thank you. It's my sci-fi reimagining of the Count of Monte Cristo, but there is a lot of this movie's DNA in that book because I love this movie, and there's a lot of Count of Monte Cristo in this movie with, you know, Diego escaping wrongful imprisonment and all that. So yeah, if you enjoy, you know, this aforementioned swashbuckling and villains and stuff that we've talked about, I think that book is right up your alley.
I ordered my copy yesterday.
Oh, thank you, dude. I appreciate
Nice.
that.
Yeah, I'm
Count
excited.
rules.
All right, Keigen, Lan, you can't avoid it any longer.
All right,
I
I'll
can.
go. Yeah, Lan, you could wait a little bit more. I watched this across the last couple of weeks. It is Winning Time: The Rise of the Lakers Dynasty. It's a few years old. It was on HBO. It's a show about the Showtime Lakers. So an era where Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Magic were on the Lakers when Dr. Jerry Buss purchased the team. It was executive produced by Adam McKay, our leftist king, Adam McKay. It rules. It's a really good show. Like
Great show, dude.
It's
Great show.
awesome. Like John C. Reilly is fantastic. Just he's in anything, he's amazing. But so much of the cast is awesome. It's just it's such a crazy story too that I was like, I want to Google this stuff. But the show was so good that I held off until I finished the whole show. It's not that long. They got a really short second season that, the first season's about the first year of Showtime Lakers, and the second season is like the next 4 years, all jammed into 7 episodes. But it's rad. And I feel like most people know about it because it was like a big source of the beef between McKay and Will Ferrell, because Will Ferrell didn't get the role of Dr. Buss. But it's just a good show about like this insane time period in the NBA too. So Winning Time: The Rise of the Lakers Dynasty is rad. And I finally finished it. So shouts to that.
Nice. I guess it's on me now.
Yeah, you were trying to get away with something, weren't you?
Perhaps. I'm going to recommend 2 things. I'm going to recommend Best in Show. It's a movie starring the late, great Catherine O'Hara. I've been really torn up. I've been really torn up about that for the past couple days.
Yeah.
Yeah, good movie. Really, she's so incredible in that movie. Like, just endlessly funny. Really, really fun. And then I'm also going to recommend Paris is Burning, the documentary. Like, there isn't really much to say. It's like one of the best documentaries of all time. So yeah, those are my 2.
Sweet. Well, that's the episode.
Whoa.
Again.
Hey, wait, whoa.
What? What
did you recommend?
I just said watch Mask of Zorro.
He said this movie.
badass.
He said he didn't have time to watch anything. He's a really busy guy. He's like
so busy.
Always doing stuff.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
Hey, Ibrahim will back me up. He has a dog. He understands. When you have a dog, it's like half of your time is just
next
dog
week
stuff.
we're gonna get a recommendation. It's like next week I recommend going to the dog park. Next week I recommend going to PetSmart. PetSmart's great.
It really is.
Dogs like to sniff things.
It really is like having a perpetual 2-year-old. They just need stuff all the time.
Yeah, the one advantage is I can leave the house for a few hours, which I probably shouldn't do with a real 2-year-old.
Right.
It'll be fine. A couple hours.
But that balances out when they become not 2 anymore.
Yeah.
That's
true.
Yeah, but no, Petco is great. I am taking puppy classes with the dog. So yeah, there's my taste.
There's your recommendation. Yeah,
that's
go to Petco for puppy classes.
And my taste breakers grab bag is PetSmart. Fuck PetSmart.
They just don't know how to live.
I don't really know the difference. All right, that's the show. Again, follow Ibrahim on Blue Sky and Instagram. Check out his work. And YouTube, yes, his figure customization stuff is hella cool.
Thank you. There is actually a tour of my Zorro collection on there as well. If anyone is feeling the fox in the moment, wants to check that out. Yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate the share there.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
thanks for joining.
Yeah,
and thanks for listening.
Pleasure.
And
keep on
grappling.
I went a bit slow just to give Ibrahim a chance to see if he'd pick up on that.
Jump in. That's okay.
You just confused.
It's okay, but
guy.
He did though. Because it's perfect every time. It's okay.
We love not preparing people.
My earphones didn't pick it up, but I'm sure you said it, Ibrahim.
I mouthed it like when you sing Happy Birthday, but you don't actually want to sing.
Don't want to sing. You don't like these that person.
When you don't
much,
actually
so
know when you don't actually know the name of the person whose birthday it is.
No, it's more
Sometimes
like, don't
Happy
fucking
birthday to
tell me
your-
what to do, dude. You know?
We're in an Olive Garden right now. Why are we doing this? This is
Life is just a series of humiliation rituals. Happy birthday, chief among them.
yeah.
Damn, that's true.
Some of them are for you, some of them are against you. You just gotta hope it comes up your way more often than not.